a very special guest. She's a very good friend of mine. But before we start, if you're watching now, this is on replay, do me a favor, type the word replay down below so that we know that you were here, right? Otherwise, if you're watching live, I need you to do three things. First, I need you to type your name in the comments, then where you're from, and third, what your business is. I need your name, where you're from, and what your business is. I'm going to give you a second for you to type those in and for people to actually come on so that we can get this thing started. And this is special. If this is your first time, every week we bring you these special lunch and learns with industry insiders and experts that are already living out their passions, their dreams, their expertise. And on these lunch and learns, they actually give you the ability to do the exact same thing by sharing with you nuggets, right? Straight fire, as some of y'all would say, F-I-Y-A-H. Fire, straight fire that y'all can implement into your own businesses. It is worth nothing if we can actually share this journey with you. So again, right, if you're watching this now, see we got people jumping on. I need your name, where you're from, and what your business is. Your name, where you're from, what your business is. My name is Lamar Tyler, again, creator and founder of Traffic, Sales, and Profit. We help entrepreneurs do three things: drive more traffic, convert more sales, and grow the amount of profit in their business, right? And this is awesome. What's up, Tanika? I see we got Tanika down in the chat. Thanks for joining, Tanika. Glad to have you here. Tanika's from DMV, also the CEO of Black Filmmakers Academy. I see you, right? Shout out to you. And I'm going to say, before we bring on our guests too, y'all, share this. There's somebody in your community. You have a friend, you have a family member, you have a biz bestie, ladies, because y'all got those biz besties, y'all call them. You got a biz bestie that is interested in this information, is interested in this conversation, and they just need to know that it's happening and that it's going on right now. And you are the one that is the gatekeeper, right? You're in the middle between the information they need to grow and launch their business and people that are actually giving them and sharing that with them today. So make sure you guys share that, and we're going to get started in just a second. Let me see. I got Brent Angel from Houston. What's going on, H-Town? Master Life and Relationship Coaches. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Christine, we got Christine St. Ville in the house. Love me some Gina Paige is what Christine said. I love it. Jamaria, what's going on? From Milledgeville, Georgia, building readers first and smart kids shop. Who else we got? We got Grace Johnson in Dallas, online boutique, Afro Indie Adornments. I love that. Hey, Jacqueline, just saw Jacqueline in Vegas, in Raleigh, North Carolina. She is the Ripple Effect Coaching and Leadership Group. So I love it, guys. So make sure y'all are sharing this out with your communities and tribes. I'm sharing it out on mine as well to make sure I get all my people here. And we are about to rock this thing out. All right, so let me show you guys what we have or who we have with us today, because this is going to be one of your favorite lunch and learns out of the whole series. I already know it. I can feel it, y'all. In 2003, Dr. Gina Paige co-founded African Ancestry, Inc. And in doing so, pioneered a new way of tracing African lineages using genetics in a new marketplace for people of African descent looking to more accurately and reliably trace their roots. Paige travels the world helping people demystify where they're from and informing on identities so that they may better understand who they are. She's worked with and revealed the roots of the world's leading icons and entities, including Oprah Winfrey. Y'all check this list out. Oprah Winfrey, John Legend, Spike Lee, Condoleezza Rice, the King family, and Lamar and Ronnie Tyler. All right, that last part, the last part was not on the bio, y'all, but I'm putting my pitch in there to try to work it in. And Lamar, Ronnie Tyler. Dr. Paige has featured in hundreds of media outlets through Jet Time, USA Today, 60 Minutes. The list goes on. She currently resides in D.C., where she oversees the operations of African Ancestry. Guys, please join me in welcoming Dr. Gina Paige. Hey, what's going on, Gina? How are you?
I'm great. I'm adding you out to the bio after this. Ronnie and Lamar Tyler, definitely.
For TSP purposes, you ain't got to, you can have a special bio version just for us that we use. But that's awesome. Hey, I'm excited to have you here, right? Because today we're talking about building a business on purpose, I guess with purpose as well. And when I think of businesses that aren't just like businesses, right? It's not just like, all right, I'm just making the donuts and selling the donuts. And I'm thinking about, companies that have like an impact, like a major impact on their customers and people that come through their doors. African Ancestry is one of those first companies I think about. And can you just give like a little bit of background on what African Ancestry is and how this whole thing got started before we go?
Of course. So we are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people. We use DNA to reconnect Black people to their specific ethnic groups or tribes in the specific African countries. And we started this business 16 years ago. So before there was an AncestryDNA.com, before there was a 23andMe, there were two Black entrepreneurs, well, an entrepreneur and a scientist, who wanted to use DNA to help Black people transform the way we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. That's who we are.
I love it. So, one of the things that it grabs me the most, right, is the impact your product has on the people who purchased it and once they go through it, right? Because once, like y'all, it's a private Facebook group for customers of African ancestry, and literally I was in it just 2 days ago. 2 days ago I was in it, and it never gets old, right? This is what happens. Someone gets their test results, they come into the group and they say, welcome. My name is Lamar. My maternal lineage traces back to the Tikal people of Cameroon. And then the love they get in the group, right? Everybody just surrounds them. They say, hey, cousin, I go back to the same group of people in Cameroon as well. I go back to the same group of people in Guinea-Bissau or Nigeria or whatever it may be. I mean, does that ever get old for you, Gina?
No, it doesn't. It's amazing. You just, even though I know how people react, I'm still surprised each time. Because it's a brand new person and you never know. The other thing that happens in that community that we have is that when people are about to jump off the ledge because their results aren't African, because the results don't always come back African, the community is there to help them understand, put it into context, and kind of talk them down and make them feel good about what the information they've gotten. So it really is a very powerful group of people.
All right, y'all. So I love it. I had to get those pieces out because I want y'all to know how powerful and impactful this actual work is. But today we're talking about this kind of building a business piece. You guys have built an amazing business, right? And we kind of had like 4 points or 4 things that we talked about in conversation that you wanted to kind of share with the audience as ways they could go about building a business and being purposeful about it and building a business with purpose as well. And you want to kind of jump into those few things real quick?
Yeah, I hope I have the same list. So the first thing I thought of was asking yourself, what do you believe in? What are you passionate about? Because being an entrepreneur, as we all know, is not for the faint of heart. This is something that you're going to spend most hours of probably every day committing your time, talents, and resources to. And so it needs to be aligned with what's important to you. And so in our case, what was important to my business partner, he's a geneticist. The genetics of Black people are important to him. So as a researcher in his day job, so to speak, he's researching the genetics of Black folks so that he can find the cure for prostate cancer or type 2 diabetes or any of those diseases that disproportionately affect us. My passion is Black people. And as you have heard me say, Lamar, I'm in the business of being Black. And so when you combine someone whose passion is Black people with someone whose passion is the genetics of Black people, what you get is African ancestry. And on those days where it gets tough or where you're facing criticism or when things just aren't going the way that you want them to go, or you're just plain busy and tired, you can go back to that commitment you had. We can go back to that commitment we have towards Black people and keep pushing through.
I love it, right? So I think that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people don't really craft that out before they start the business. So like you said, like when those times get tough, they don't really have something like that to kind of lean back on. I mean, have you seen that with other business owners and entrepreneurs and people kind of in circles that you've been in?
I think, yes. So I've seen people have to really dig down deep and say, okay, why am I doing this again? And fortunately, the people that I know and interact with, they are on purpose. And so they're not wavering, but they do have to dig in because this is not easy work, regardless of what your business is. And I like to tease people in the mastermind too, because I don't have a husband, a spouse, I don't have any kids, and I still don't feel like I can get things done. So I have no idea how all you folks who are Black and married with kids can do it. But it all goes back to the reason why.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And Gina actually is one of our TSP Mastermind members, right? Since you mentioned it, I'll bring it up. She's one of our TSP Mastermind members that's rocking it out. And, you know, it's funny because I saw Tiffany. What's up, Tiffany? Tiffany down in the comments said, I love that quote about I'm in the business of being Black. And let me tell y'all, I love that quote. Gina said that last year on the stage at TSP Live as we were doing kind of like our mastermind celebration for last year. She said that last year on the stage, and I loved it so much. I said, Gina, like, I want to have a whole talk, right? A discussion about being in the business of being Black and how you succeed in that business. And we're actually doing that at TSP Live next month in June. So I'm glad you brought that up, Tiffany. I'll talk more about that before we wrap. But that is impactful in and of itself. And again, it's just so strong. One of the reasons I love the work that Gina's doing. I love the whole company. I love everything around what she's doing. All right. So what would you say will be the next step, or kind of like the next thing somebody needs to kind of look out for, be aware of, Gina?
So the next thing, I'm going to flip it, and it's understanding your consumer or your customer. I think it's really important to understand who your customer is when you're building a business on purpose. How is what's important to the customer? How does that align with what you're offering, with how you're spending your hours in the day? If those two things aren't aligned, then something about your being on purpose, something about your path is off kilter. If our customers didn't care about where they were from in Africa, then it wouldn't make sense for us to be in this business. If our customers were telling us, well, I want to know how much European ancestry I have, or how much Native American ancestry I have, then we would know ours is not the product for you, because that's not our focus. So it's really important that you're clear about why people are going to come to your business in the first place.
I love it. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so once they're clear about it, right, they've defined that. They say, we understand who the customer is. We got to grill down, you know, to who it is, what they want, what they're about, what's important to them. What should the next step be?
So for me, the next step is making sure you understand that the core principles that guide your business, or the core principles that guide you as the entrepreneur, are woven into your business, and that they guide your business. So in our case, in my personal case, one of the things that's very important to me is authenticity. Another is integrity. And then another is FUBU, for us, by us. And so I make sure that in our operations process, in our product, in our customer communications, in our policies, that those things are evident. That could mean the way we communicate the information to our customers, the way we communicate what their ancestry results are when they're African and when they're not African. That goes back to understanding your consumer, right? So if someone gets results that say you share ancestry with the Mandinka people living in Senegal today, I know that that's going to elicit a reaction of yes. Like every Black man that gets that goes, yeah. I know that if I say you share ancestry with people living in people who descend from Native American populations, it could go one way or the other, right? Some people are like, yes, because Black folks want to have quote unquote Indian in them. But it could also go another way, like, well, what the, I'm African. Yeah. Where does this Native American come in? So understanding that guides how we communicate. Understanding that I'm for us, Black, for us, by us. That could change that though, huh? For us, Black, us. Means that we use Black vendors and Black suppliers and Black contractors as much as we possibly can. So those are just some examples of how the core principles for me, are woven into the core principles of the business and then into our processes and policies.
I love it. I love it. And before we go to the last step, hey guys, I wanted to remind you, if you just joined us, my name is Lamar Tyler, creator and founder of Traffic Sales and Profit. We're here on today's Lunch and Learn with Dr. Gina Paige, co-founder of African Ancestry, the only place, right, that you need to be rocking with if you're part of the TSP community when it comes to getting your DNA test results to find out where you are really from, what tribe you are really from, what group of people that you connect with in modern day, right? So this is good, Gina, right? And it reminded me of a conversation that I actually had last night. So I was doing a call last night, and you talked about your kind of your kind of values and things that you personally have kind of matching what the actual business does as well. And I was corrected last night, and I love this correction because I was talking about the kind of flip side of that, right? And the lack of kind of business ethics. Right. And people doing things properly in their business. And Gerald, right, from the mastermind, corrected me and said, no, Lamar, it's not business ethics. It's just ethics. You know what I mean? And people, it's not that they don't have business ethics. They just don't have ethics in general if certain issues are popping up in their business. So, you know, I love that piece you talked about, like the things that are what you are about and the things that are important to you, lining up with what's important in your business. And then I think that kind of brings it back to that why again and makes everything, like you said, when the going gets tough and we face challenges as entrepreneurs, makes it easier for you to push through and connect and the people connect with you and, you know, knowing who your customer is and all those type of things because everything's in alignment. I love it. All right. So what's the fourth thing? What's the fourth thing you have for us when we break this down? I'm building.
I don't know. Is there one I missed? I don't know which one. I have all these notes. I don't remember what the fourth thing was.
I think we're talking about too, knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, yeah. So you have to know. That's important. So you have to know what you're good at and what you're not good at and divide the labor that way, right? So, and I'm not good. I'm not a scientist. I mean, this is real obvious, but I'm not a scientist. My business partner is a scientist, but he's not a business person. So really, this is his dream. African Ancestry is his dream that he wanted to bring to the market because Black people found out he could do it and inundated him with requests. They were like, if you can find the ancestry of bones at the New York African burial ground, then you can find my ancestry. I'm still alive, and I know it's easier. Because everybody watches CSI and all those shows. They think they know. Anyway, he knew that he couldn't bring it to market. And so we partnered and I commercialized his research. So, you know, that's an example of each person knowing their strengths. Now, another interesting thing that I don't talk about matter of fact, I don't know if I've ever talked about it. This is a TSP scoop exclusive. No. When we started our company, it was important to us that he be the face because we were a science company, a technology company, and because we're Black owned and because we're talking about Africa, faced all kinds of criticism. So we had this, you know, we really were doubling down on the science. But after getting beaten up so many times early on by the critics and in white media, mainstream media, he was just like, I'm out. I'm not doing another interview. I'm not giving another presentation. No. And I was like, what do you mean you're out? You can't be out because I don't know how to give these presentations. I'm not a scientist. So that wasn't my strength, but I had to step into that and learn the presentation, learn the talk, the lingo and all of that. And then use that to sell people to grow the business. So again, a place where I didn't have that strength, but I stepped in and built up the strength so that the business could move forward.
I love it. I love it. Right. It's funny because I think oftentimes when we start businesses, we have no idea what it'll actually take to grow the different levels of the business and how we have to expand and grow as individuals in order to kind of get from rung to rung on the ladder. So I love that. Now you're speaking all the time. I never would have known that. I never would have known that.
But I have to preface every presentation with, I am not a geneticist. So I teach everybody all that I know, and then we're done.
Awesome. I love it. All right, y'all. If you're just joining again, we're with Dr. Gina Paige from African Ancestry. Hey, now's the time to ask your questions. Drop them down into the comments below. We got a few minutes. We're going to take a few questions as you guys drop them in, right? If you got questions about building a business on purpose and being able to kind of build something like what Gina and her partner have done with African Ancestry. In the meantime, while you guys are doing that, I did want to actually mention Gina has presented a special offer for you guys. This is big news, right? My team's going to drop it down in the comments. She's going to give you to find your special offer, to find your roots. When you purchase the African Ancestry Kit, you'll receive a free sterling silver Africa pendant, $49 value. So when you purchase your test kit from African Ancestry, you'll get a free sterling silver Africa pendant, $49 value. All you have to do is use promo code TSP. Promo code TSP, and that will get you guys what you need. I highly encourage it. We've had our maternal and paternal sides done, both me and Ronnie. I know a lot of folks in the mastermind this year have had their actual results in, right? Seems like every month somebody else is getting it done, and they're posting on Facebook what their results are. And I cannot tell you, there's no other feeling in the world that's comparable to when you open up that envelope and you find out, where your ancestors actually originated from. So my team's going to drop that down into the comments, and we're going to take a few questions. Awesome. All right. I got one for you, Gina. I'm going to put them to the screen too. Jamaria said, can you explain more of your struggles on being Black owned, and how did you overcome them? So
Jamaria, that's a great question, and we'd be here on here all day. But what I will say is that when the challenges or the struggles of being Black owned come because of the mainstream community, they're much easier for me to handle because I understand. Well, I shouldn't say easier, but I handle them because I understand where they're coming from. So I guess that's how I overcome the struggles, is I understand where the difficulty is coming from. I know that there are lots of people out there who don't want Black people to have the power that they feel and they experience, and then that they walk in once they know where specifically in Africa they come from. On the flip side, we've had quite a number of struggles with being Black owned from our own customer base, fighting the perceptions that if you're Black owned, you're not as good as the other companies, even though we were first. Or if there's one small, if they don't like the language that a customer service rep used, then they're not going to use our company, and they're going to tell everybody else not to use our company because they didn't like 3 words that someone said. But I understand that too. And that's where understanding your customer comes from. Because for real, we're sick. We're confused. And that's all because of our disconnection from Africa. We've been walking around with this void. We've been walking around with all of this misinformation for 400 years. So I understand where it comes from, and that makes it a little bit easier. But the thing to do really is just, in those kinds of cases, is just kill them with kindness. When you kill people with kindness, like you would do if someone had cancer or someone had, strep throat or pneumonia. You wouldn't be mad at them for being sick. You would be compassionate, empathetic, and do what you could to help them feel better.
I love it. Hey, I got a comment real quick, and then we'll take another question. Laria said, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, said, listen, truth, I just found out I'm from the Mende people of Sierra Leone. One of the best gifts ever bought for myself. Hashtag African Ancestry.
Welcome, fam. Welcome.
There we go. Let me see. Here's a great comment. Wow, I had no idea African Ancestry was first. I'm glad I found that out because I certainly want to trace my exact heritage. Love you, Dr. G. Y'all, I'm telling you, take advantage of the promotion, right? So you get your sterling silver Africa pendant, $49 value, free when you use promo code TSP. And that's down in the comments too. Hey, Tiffany had a question. She said, how did you gain the confidence to speak or sell something that you weren't necessarily the expert on?
Yeah, Tiffany, that's a great question, because I am a confident speaker when I know what I'm talking about. That, I didn't have any, I wasn't shy. I had no problem going up on the stage, but when it was something I didn't know, I was like, ugh. So what I did was I just studied. I just dissected it and I practiced and practiced. I made my business partner listen to me. I recorded him giving the presentation. So at the beginning, I gave his exact same presentation verbatim. And then slowly I was able to evolve it and tweak it. And now it's mine.
I love it. We got a few more comments. Olaria also said, Dr. Gina, you're doing God's work. Let me see. I had a good one from it's a lot going on down in the comments. It's a lot. Y'all excited. Kevin said, I commend you for the dopeness you brought to the world with your company. Keep being G. And let me see. I had one more question I had down here that I wanted to do. We answered Jamaria. Oh, here we go. Angela said, with this not being your dream, what inspires you to continue building your business?
Angela, what? That is a great question. You know what it is? Is that I love Black people. And though this is not my dream, and though this is not my dream, I have come to embrace its significance. And I think it's the ancestors, Angela. If we're just going to get down to it, it's the ancestors. There's absolutely no reason why we're still in business today, given the competition, their level of spending, given, all the credit that we don't get for the work that we do. We shouldn't be here, but we are. And we're growing. Thanks to Black Panther, Wakanda, shout out to Chadwick Boseman, and quite honestly, the antics of our current president. All of those things have created an environment that has allowed us to grow our company. And so once I got past the idea that this is not my dream, this is his dream, and I'm just helping him with his dream, I realized that I created it. So it may not be my dream, but I gave birth to it. And so I have to nurture and grow. This is my kid. I said I don't have any kids. I don't have a spouse. I have a 16-year-old business. That's what I have. And that's where all of my energy and strength goes.
All right, y'all. And again, I wanted to remind you, put up on the screen a special offer for you guys out there. If you've not done it yet, to find your roots. If you've already done your maternal, you need to do your paternal, right? Get it done. And it applies to so many people in your family. Purchase an African Ancestry Test Kit and receive a free sterling silver Africa pendant, $49 value. Use code TSP. Go to www.africanancestry.com. And hey, Gina, real quick, because I kind of mentioned this in passing. When people get the kit, right? Because a lot of people, I don't think they realize how many people it actually applies to in their family. Could you just talk about that real quick for 1 second?
I can. So we have one test that traces maternal ancestry, mother to mother to mother to mother. It goes back 500 to 2,000 years. And it tells you the present day country, not a region, a country, and a tribe, an ethnic group, the actual people that you share ancestry with. Well, because of the type of DNA that we look at, you can share those results with everybody in your family who comes from your grandmother. So that means you, your kids, your brothers and sisters, your nieces and nephews, your mother, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandmother, her mother, your grandchildren, their grandchildren, everybody on that line, that branch of the family tree can share the results of that just one test. And no other company can do that. All the other companies, you can only share your results with your siblings if you have the same parents.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. I just want to make sure I mention that because as I mentioned before, when I first found out that our lineage traced back to the Tikar people in Cameroon, like Dr. Gina said, it wasn't just for me. Then I was able to take that and share it with my brothers, to share it with my mother, to call up my cousins, right? To call up my grandmother who's still alive at the time, to call up my aunts and uncles and share this family information. So I want you guys to make sure you jump on it. Also, my team dropped down. I'm going to post that up as well. Hey, if you want to see more from Dr. Gina Paige, she is one of our speakers at TSP Live 2019 in June. If you don't have your tickets yet, go to tsplive.tickets.com. Actually, I pulled together a special discussion. It's going to be Dr. Gina Paige. It's going to be Freddie Taylor from Urban Intellectuals and myself. And we're talking about being in the business of being Black, right? We just co-opted Gina's.
That's okay. That's okay. I love it.
We co-opted, right? Made a discussion out of it because oftentimes one of the things that I heard said so many times is that, hey, I'm Black business, but I can serve anybody, collect money for anybody, which is totally fine. I'm totally in agreement with that. But what I don't like is that a lot of times individuals will try to make people that only want to or directly serve the Black community, try to make them feel bad or like they're doing business in a wrong way, right? Or not doing something right. So what I wanted to do is actually bring two individuals that are highly successful, that I highly respect, Dr. Gina Paige and Freddie Taylor from Urban Intellectuals to the stage. And have this discussion right along with myself. We've got two successful brands that directly target the African-American community and talk about how, if that's your passion, if that's what you're willed to do, right? If that's what you're called to do, if that's what your heart is on, you can do it. You can be successful. You can make a lot of money. I mean, this is Black folks, $1 trillion economy, right? I think you can be good tapping into that. So you know what? We're going to talk about it. We're going to break down into it. And you guys be able to ask all the questions you have at TSP Live, June 14th and 15th here in Atlanta. Go to tsplive.tickets.com to get a hold of it and to find out more information about our roster of speakers. It's going to be the most amazing event we've ever had. All right, Gina, any last words before we close out?
I want to thank you for sharing your gifts with everybody, Lamar, because when I brought that up on stage last year, it was because everybody had already said all of the wonderful things about you and Ronnie and the whole TSP team. And I was like, well, what am I going to say? And the one thing that they didn't say is how much of a heart you have, not just for us as business owners, but for us as Black business owners. And I think it's evidenced in this TSP community. So I want to thank you and your team for the work you do and for allowing me to share what I do with everyone.
You are very welcome. You're very welcome. All right. So we will see you soon next month. Everybody, I want to thank you for joining us for another TSP Lunch and Learn. We'll see you guys next week with another very special guest. Make sure you join us. In the meantime, if you're not a member of the group, make sure you join Traffic, Sales, and Profit with Lamar Tyler here on Facebook. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Gina Paige.
Thanks.